Okay, this is an interesting topic because this topic comes up a lot in different circles, but I feel like we have the perfect people to talk about it. Because you were around when the import scene was still completely underground.
Yeah.
There was no movies yet on the mainstream. There wasn't even much coverage in the mainstream about like the import scene.
Not mainstream at all, but there were like flyers and stuff.
Yeah, there are flyers, tapes, DVDs, magazines. Do you believe that Fast and Furious, so this is like an actual like claim a lot of people are making, that when Fast and Furious got created, it de-Asian the import scene?
A billion, bajillion, quadrillion, madillion %.
By that time, though, I would argue that it wasn't even peak car scene. It was toward the decline.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, it was already at the time where
You thought it was already, the popularity was dying down?
I don't know if that's the word, but I don't think that people started going, that's not real racing. Like they were questioning it, remember?
Oh yeah, the like how legit it was?
Yeah, because like that's when everyone started wising up to like, you can't really get the rice rockets that fast.
Nothing made sense in the first one, the freaking floorboard falling off. Like none of that, yeah, all of it didn't make sense.
Like, even in the scene, like people used to just soup up their Civics, right?
Yeah.
And then that used to be really sick. And then I think toward the end, you actually had real Supras and RX-7. I mean, you know, like you had real like Skylines being imported from Japan. Yeah. But before that, the scene started with like shitty like two-door Civics.
Cressidas?
Yeah, that aren't fast. Yeah.
But then you know the whole thing of like when the rest of the world found out about the import scene, they took a lot of the Asianness out of it.
Oh yeah.
How like Asian dominant that whole scene was. Yeah. You know, like
That's how I felt about it when I watched it.
yeah, I actually felt about like that way too.
Because especially like so I grew up in Cerritos, and then a lot of the those main shops that did like remember like they would like put a B16 in like they would do the motor swaps, or you put the veil side body kits or whatever. Everyone knew you had to go to the SGV to get that stuff done. So there was a ton of shops up and down Garvey and Valley, did the body kits, the motor swaps, all that stuff, right? And that was what the scene was. So if you were a Mexican, you still went to the Asian shops to get it done. If you're a white guy from Huntington Beach, you went to Asian shops to get it done. And all those like...
And the Asians went to Mexican shops to get stereos done.
yeah, the car audio. And then up and down Valley, Atlantic, Garvey, you would have those miscellaneous car shops with air fresheners, seatbelt covers, metal pedal covers, all that stuff. And I remember
That's right.
being in that scene, or even being adjacent to it, because I really didn't have a car like sick like that. But I had friends that were in car magazines. I had friends that won like trophies at car shows. So just being like involved in it. When I saw the movie come out, I'm like, what the fuck? Shouldn't like the first 10 listed cast be all Asian? Yeah. I've literally never seen a bald, ginormous buff
Big
guy.
buff bald guy.
I never saw a fucking Huntington Beach looking white boy like this. Right. And then there's fucking like Hector and all these other guys. Yeah. And then Johnny Tran or Johnny Kim, whoever the
Ed Ja Rule.
Yeah, it's like this small of the story when it should be probably the other way around.
Yeah, because when we were young, like, do you remember, like, even if you didn't have a car, you were still part of that community because you were into that scene. And when you went to those events, Hot Import Nights, Import Show Off, whatever, just were Asians that just liked being around it. And I felt like, hey, that's kind of weird that, like, I didn't even think there were white people winning a lot of these things and they were still there, but by a large margin.
Yeah, they were like less than 5% of the scene. But Hollywood did have a way of Hollywoodizing everything because like they never were great at accurately showing a culture. Now they're really good at that.
Yeah.
But back then what they would do is they just bring this multicultural ensemble and then like they would try to fit it all in. But we watching we're like, nah, dude, like white guys race, but they did drag cars. Like they did muscle cars and then like they used to do drag racing, but they didn't race like we did.
Yeah.
Like that import scene, the way that they raced was they would compete on the highway. Yeah. And then they would look at each other and just go, right? But and then so like you didn't really have white guys in a scene like that. Maybe like in the show, like when they would soup up their cars for show, they wouldn't actually race it. There were rarely any black. So that was weird, right? Because they hook up every culture didn't like, what do you call it? Back then, you stayed in your culture.
Lowriders, Hispanics, donks, black, muscle, white.
And you just didn't do that. Like, if you're Asian, you had your own thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But then after that movie, though, a lot of Mexicans got into the scene.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the thing that was so strange to me, because it always felt like, it wasn't that I felt like they weren't present. I just thought Asians loved that stuff the most. Like, I just thought those were the people that liked that scene the most. I didn't know that other people even cared, because, you know, even the friends that I had that weren't Asian didn't really care that much about it. So then it was weird to see not that I think the movie came out bad. I love the movie. I'm glad it happened and everything. But it's interesting that it like sucked away completely what it looked like in real life to all of us.
But don't you think that the Asians started weaning off already around that time? It was getting popular. And then they kind of...
I think a generation of them did, but I was just getting into it because I started driving in '01, you know, so then I was like, damn, now I'm going to be in the scene. I'm going to swap my Civic front for an Integra front. Like, I'm going to butcher the whole thing, like all this stuff. And then by the time I was able to join it, it was like, oh, okay, I guess it's like...
There are little parts that I would say I was upset, but then I think I also understood that for mass appeal, you have to change the story. So one of the parts I was like most upset about was, you know, with the whole Asian gangsters and stuff. I'm like, who the fuck wears leather pants? I don't know no Asian gangsters wearing leather pants and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? But I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Like if you see like Dickies on camera, it's not cinematic. It's not visually, you know, like you watch any mob movie, the guy's wearing a leather jacket. How many leather jackets you see in real life? No one wears leather.
Doesn't set that crew apart far enough from the other people.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I get it. And then also just like Hollywood-wise, I'm like, you have to have a buff guy. You have to have a good-looking guy. Then you have the hot girl. Now the story is so much more like, you could like tap into it. So I understood why they had to Hollywoodize it. Yeah. And then the other part that I was like, isn't all of this just rooted though in Japan, because all the most coveted cars were right-hand drive anyways? Yeah. So it was like, I think to me it was like, I knew they took just the essence of the culture and they kind of bastardized and told a new story and created a whole new thing about it. Yeah. And I think at that time I was just so happy also to see something that small become mainstream.
And then it went one step further where like once it became Tokyo Drift, that's great. It's in Japan. They have all these awesome Asian characters. But then at the time of, you know, that we were in, you still needed a white main character to tell the story so that like mass appeal could put themselves in his spot.
Yeah, there was no way they were going to have an all Asian cast and then it being marketable. It just wouldn't work at the time.
Yeah, even the girl, the love interest wasn't even like full Japanese, right?
Devon Aoki?
No, from Tokyo Drift.
Oh,
or maybe she wasn't Japanese at all. But remember, she's like from the international school.
Yeah.
The same reason why Lil Bow Wow was in it.
Lil Bow Wow. You know what I mean? I used to love him.
They're like Navy kids or something. Yeah.
But I get it though. Like, you need your people to feel represented. So it's like you gotta have the black kids. You gotta have everybody, like Mexicans and everybody, to be like, oh, I gotta go see it because you know.
But you know what's really great that a lot of people don't know is like, you know, like the RJ De Vera or like people that were really integral to the import scene. Asians were part of like the consultation team. Cool. They were featured. Like the guy that's playing video games in his car. Remember that in the race in the first one? Yeah. And there's one Asian guy in the race.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's an actual like really well-known figure in that world. Yeah. So at least they're tipping their hat a little bit.
So what I thought was cool was so one of my friends, he was part of the casting call for the cars. And what I thought was cool was when they wanted to be as authentic to the culture as possible. So when they did the casting call, they reached out to all the car teams.
Yeah.
So they would have like hundreds of cars come in and they wanted to pick the actual cars that were known in the scene. So if you're about the scene, you're like, oh, that was the one that won 2003 Hot Import Nights, or that's the one that won 2001, whatever. So they didn't just make random cars and then put it on screen. They were actual like award-winning cars in the scene.
And they took Craig Lieberman's cars. So he's like I think he was the technical director or something, technical designer or something. They took his actual cars that he made that were really famous in the scene, and they made clones of them for the movie. Whoa. They would make like 4 or 5 of his car to use it in the film.
In case you have to crash it.
Yeah, because they were totaling most of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I don't think anyone has complaints about are the cars. Like they did a great job with the accuracy and the scene. It's just
It might be more about like where it's gone and the magnitude of money that it's made, that when you trace it all the way back down to the genesis of it was just an Asian scene.
but it was still big for us because even the director was the Better Luck Tomorrow guy, like
Justin Lin.
Justin Lin, for like a long time, you know? And then, so it still captured like people from the community.
Oh yeah. But I understand the conversations that people are having about it, because I wasn't even close to really being there. But for those guys who were there and helped build that scene and helped build the interest, and them putting their money and time into this scene to grow it, to get enough attention to even want to make a movie out of it, for them to see it, I feel like I understand if they're looking at it like, bro, what the fuck has it become? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I guess like they're saying the next Fast and Furious after, the last one, they're saying it's going to go back to the original. It's going to go back to the essence of import scene. So who knows?
But the import scene doesn't even exist no more.
Yeah, all the best guys became overlanders.
They honestly did. All those shops they converted into overlanding.
That's true.
Like one of the biggest shops in the SGV right now, I think they're called 88 Rotors. And when you see the guys, you're like, oh, like all the 40-year-olds now, you're like when you're like 17, I'm sure you had a Civic or an Integra or whatever, and you just kind of converted that into overlanding.
Dads, and they want to go camping during COVID.
Yeah, it's understandable. No, people got tired of scraping the car everywhere.